For years, farmers, survivalists, and old-school homesteaders have searched for fast ways to restore depleted soil. Civilizations, from the Maya lowlands to ancient China, understood one truth: when soil dies, everything else follows. Modern agriculture often takes nutrients out faster than we put them back, leaving land tired, compacted, and barely able to grow anything worthwhile. But every so often, a method comes along that feels almost too good to be true. A technique so simple that once you learn it, you'll wonder why no one taught it earlier. Today's guide breaks down one of those methods, a 3-layer mulch stack that turns poor soil into rich, dark, living earth in just 14 days. Not theory, not expensive inputs. Just a repeatable system that works almost anywhere, with materials nearly every homesteader already has. Let's break it down step by step so you can use this technique on your own land the moment the video ends. Understanding why soil collapses is the key to restoring it. Throughout history, soil degradation has always followed the same pattern: exposure, erosion, and nutrient mining. When soil sits bare, wind and rain strip away organic matter until it becomes pale, lifeless dust. Civilizations that survived long-term, like the Andean agricultural societies, excelled at protecting their soil with layers of biomass. The 3-layer mulch stack follows this same principle, but speeds the natural processes dramatically by creating the perfect conditions for microbes and soil organisms to explode in population. What normally takes months can be accelerated to 2 weeks because we're giving life everything it needs at once: carbon, nitrogen, moisture, and cover. The first layer begins with rough carbon because structure always comes before fertility. You start by laying down a thick base of coarse material. This is your high-carbon, slow-breaking foundation: dried corn stalks, sugarcane leaves, straw, wood shavings, or dried grasses. The rougher the texture, the better the airflow, which prevents anaerobic rot and encourages fungal threads to spread. You're essentially recreating what forest floors do naturally. Build a scaffold where decomposition can happen cleanly. A practical example would be prepping a 10 by 10 patch of exhausted garden soil. You'd spread roughly 6 inches of dried plant matter across the entire square, enough that you can still see through the layer, but not so thin that soil shows everywhere. This carbon platform is what transforms plain dirt into a habitat. The second layer introduces fast nitrogen because fertility demands fuel. On top of the carbon comes a rich, moist nitrogen layer: manure, fresh-cut green grass kitchen scraps, or manure tea if that's all you have. This is where the chemistry happens. Stack the nitrogen thick enough to feel like you're feeding the soil a real meal, not a snack. Historically, farmers in Japan's Edo period used grass clippings mixed with night soil. Medieval Europeans used manure collected from livestock stalls. Today, you might rely on rabbit pellets, cow manure, or green weeds. This layer is what wakes the microbes from their slumber. Within 48 hours, the heat begins. If you dig in with your hand, you'll feel the temperature rise. That's not magic. It's biology in overdrive. On a practical level, if you have chickens, you can scoop bedding from their coop and spread it over your carbon base. If you mow your yard regularly, use the fresh clippings. Just avoid thick layers of fresh manure directly touching sensitive plant roots. The process works because nitrogen drives rapid decomposition while carbon keeps everything balanced. The third layer seals the system with fine mulch that protects and regulates. The final layer acts as a breathable shield. You cap the stack with another carbon layer, but this time it's softer and lighter. Shredded leaves, fine straw, or partially broken down compost. The goal is to insulate the nitrogen so microbes can work without direct sunlight, drying them out. This top layer is also the secret to retaining moisture. Civilizations that practiced layered mulching knew water conservation was just as important as nutrients. If you're restoring a row of garden beds, this top layer might be 2 to 3 inches thick. If you're rehabilitating a larger patch of land, use whatever you have. The key is full coverage. Moisture control is what turns these layers into fertile soil in 14 days. Water is the accelerator. You don't want mud, but you do want the entire stack moist enough that it clumps when squeezed. Check the moisture every 2 to 3 days. If you're in a dry climate, give the layers a deep soak and then leave them alone. The heat they generate will hold moisture surprisingly well. In a humid climate, you may only need to water once. A farmer with sandy soil can use this method to create planting pockets that retain moisture 6 to 10 times better. A homesteader reviving a tired potato bed will notice earthworms returning in less than a week. The transformation is visible, physical, unmistakable. After 14 days, the soil becomes dark, loose and alive. You can plant directly into it or turn the stack lightly into the topsoil. Tomatoes, beans, yams, peppers, nearly every crop responds well. Some survivalists use this technique to prep hidden grow patches because it works quietly and blends into the landscape quickly. If you repeat the method every season, your soil stops being a medium you plant into and becomes a living partner that does half the work for you. Subscribe and share to support more practical, field-tested history and homestead knowledge. If this guide helped you, pass it along to someone who needs healthier soil and smarter land skills. And make sure to subscribe to Farm Logic so you never miss the methods, strategies and historical insights that keep your land productive and your knowledge sharp.